Joining us now is the chairman of Nevada's Republican Party, Michael McDonald, and thank you so much for joining us tonight, Chairman.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Yes. Well, what did you think tonight of everybody's speech overall? What were some of the highlights? And also, what is your message to Nevadans of why they should vote for Donald Trump in 2020?
Well, I had the privilege. I had several people that were here from across America that we were just gathered in a room with masks. We had masks on, and they watched the president's speech. We also had the Vegas Golden Knights on, so just don't think we forgot about Las Vegas. But more importantly, they were people that really weren't supporting the president. They're not president's fans. And after the speeches, I asked them, collectively what they thought. So I got a different tone, which I thought was fantastic because they were talking about the way they reached out. They really liked what Eric Trump had to say. Eric's a very good speaker for his father, but they really bought into what the First Lady, when she spoke. I think her message resonated. These were women that were suburbans, suburban housewives, suburban professionals actually, that they have a home, they have children, but they also have professional jobs. So I thought it was fantastic to be able to listen to them and the way they reacted to it. Again, first starting at the beginning of the night, they weren't really involved with the president, but then afterwards, they really liked what the First Lady had to say. So the speakers overall were fantastic.
Well, as you know, nearly 180,000 Americans now have lost their lives to COVID-19. So what do you think the president is doing right? But first, what is he doing wrong in the response to the pandemic?
Well, this is very personal for me because Eric Lloyd was a friend. His wife is a true fan. I was Metro. I served with him. Devin Smith was another person I served with. He was a sergeant that passed away as well from COVID-19. So on a level that we're looking at right now, it's very personal. I mean, it's about self-responsibility. It's about making sure you're wearing your mask, you're washing your hands. When you see it, if you're in large crowds, obviously social distancing, taking what the message the president has said previously about staying involved and making sure you're taking care of yourself and your family. So on a personal level, it's about looking out for yourself. And I like the message, again, the First Lady drove home, reinforcing that the president himself is very committed to making sure we find the cure.
And Nevada has been singled out by our president for our mail-in voting law here. What are your thoughts on AB 4, and why would it lead to voter fraud when millions vote by mail every year?
Well, it's a very personal thing as well. When we saw our legislature change it with less than 100 days before the election, and the way they took, there's no crime to it. They allowed ballot harvesting. The signature was kind of left off. That's in limbo as well as far as that. I was very disappointed. Now, these are friends of mine. Don't get me wrong. These are friends of mine that served in the legislature. But when we had the discussion about it, there was no true definition of why we had to change it right away. When we talked about the COVID-19, we talked about staying safe in order to vote. When you brought up the argument, well, we do the same thing when we're protesting and there's no masks. We do the same thing when we're out in the stores. If you can go out to the stores, which we do, and we social distance, we wear the masks. We're out and about, you can still vote. And so many Americans, I saw it in the primary. I was out till 3 a.m. with people that wanted to vote, both parties, independents as well. But at 3 a.m. was about 3:30 was the last time the ballot was cast in the primary. So clearly there are people that really want to be out, they want to vote in person. It's a personal preference.
Do you support the idea of mail-in voting?
No, I'd look, if it wasn't done under the cover of night where the legislature changed the way it was done, they took out certain penalties, if you will. It was a felony before if you were ballot harvesting. This is very sacred. People have lost their lives. People have given their lives for this. This is one of the greatest privileges we have in America. And I think that anytime you tamper with that, with less than 100 days, without true discussion from the voting public, that's a problem. Look, we had thousands of people that texted in and called in during this legislative bill that weren't even heard. Less than an hour, the Secretary of State wasn't involved in this process whatsoever. The people that voted on the Republican side got the bill an hour before it was supposed to be heard. I mean, that's not a true process. That's ramming a law that was not done and collectively for all Nevadans. Forget Republican, Democrat. This is about something that's for all Nevadans, and it was done in a very shammy way.
All right. Chairman, thank you so much for joining us tonight and your perspective.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, we appreciate
it. Thank you. DC loves you, and I want to say go Knights. So we're still with you guys.
That's right.
All right. Thank you, Chairman,
Take care.
for your time. We appreciate it.